What's up, guys? Welcome back to the BOPDOWN podcast, episode 2. And yes, it has been a moment since we did episode 1, so I thought we would do a follow-up to the very, actually, well-received episode 1. I mean, you guys loved it. We did it on Dimash, SOS, and this time we're going to do it on Dimash, and this one's called The Best in the World, Opera 2, and we're going to talk about this. The reason I love doing these podcasts on different artists, because as you guys who are on my channel knows, we do tons of reaction videos. I've done over probably 3,000 total now across my channels, but we've done tons and tons of reactions. And one of the most interesting thing about reactions is the comments, because in the comments you learn so many awesome, incredible things, because it turns out you all out there are a bunch of know-it-alls. You know everything about these artists, and fair play, because you are a fan. And when you are a fan, you do your homework, you learn every single thing possible about your favorite artists. And this is why these podcasts are so exciting, because we get to share said information directly from you guys. This is information directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, in the comments. All of you guys, your voices, you've spoken out loudly, and I've heard you. And now I get to share that wealth of information with our audience and those who have tuned in for the very first time. Welcome to the BOPDOWN podcast. And if you happen to be listening to this in your car, make sure that when you get to a safe spot or when you get home, you also go and check out Off Tap Life, the channel where this broadcast, this podcast, I guess it is a broadcast, but this podcast originates from. And we also do have the BOPDOWN shorts and clips channel that you will be able to find a link in the description if you happen to be on YouTube. That being said, thank you again and welcome. All right, now that we got all of that out the way, let's talk about this song. For starters, let's talk about Dimash, because Dimash is a worldwide phenomenon, and every single person who has the opportunity, the pleasure, the extreme privilege to hear Dimash do what he does, they instantly fall in love. They go goo goo gaga, and they're like, OMG, this guy has the best voice in the world. This is sentiment shared by a multitude of people, not just one person, not a couple people, but many people believe that Dimash has the best voice in the world. When I reacted to this song and I saw it say the best voice in the world, Dimash, and then it said Opera 2, I'm like, first of all, to say that you're the best voice in the world, mind you, this is the second Dimash song I'd ever reacted to. So this was the second time I ever heard him. And when you put in the title of a song that you have the best voice in the world, that is a very strong statement to make, considering the stiff competition across the globe. So when I saw that, I went, okay. Mind you, I had just heard SOS not too long before this, and I was like, yeah, there's an argument definitely for that, because I have already heard one of his songs. But sometimes you can have a fluke, right? Sometimes maybe you've had this one-hit wonder situation and you can't repeat it. Maybe you had a good studio day. Maybe your voice was in perfect shape that particular day, but for whatever reason, you have not been able to sing that great ever since. So I needed to know if this was going to be that type of situation where it was a one-hit wonder, or is Dimash truly the real deal? And he's going to go 2 for 2. So when I reacted to this, my response was one of absolute awe. I remember just absolutely feeling like, oh my gosh, how is this guy this freaking incredible? And when I say incredible, I mean fantastically, insanely, absolutely phenomenal. Dimash has all the attributes that it takes to be great, to be greater than great, to be a future icon, a legend amongst many generations of people, young and old, for years to come. He has that. He has that, absolutely. Because it takes more than just a great voice, right? As an artist myself, someone who was formerly signed to Sony and who has been doing music my entire life, has been an entertainer my entire life, I can tell you from experience that to compete, you need to be more than just a great voice. You need to be more than just a pretty face. You need to be more than someone who has the right moves. You really need to have that and more. You really need to come with every single attribute you can muster up to compete and be at the forefront of music today. Dimash effortlessly does this. And a few months ago, I found a video where Dimash is also a martial arts expert. Like, what does this guy not do? And in the comments of that particular video, I remember someone naming a bunch of other things that he does flawlessly. And one day we will get to that on the Bop Down. But for now, let's talk about some of the things that you guys have said that has enlightened me, that will enlighten all the listeners around the world right now who are enjoying this podcast with yours truly. So let's start by this one here, because this one is very interesting. It's something you might not have known, but check this out. A listener by the name of Lupita Gallego said, "Thanks for your reaction to Dimash Opera 2. It's a Russian song. For starters, let's stop there. Did you guys know it was a Russian song? The actual song itself. A lot of these songs Dimash does can be from anywhere. He does a lot of different covers and things like that. So finding out where a particular song was his inspiration, in this particular instance being Russia, is a pretty cool thing to know. So point there. Vitas is the original singer and modulation once. So there you go. Another little piece of information that Lupita is sharing with us. And then this is where I love listening to you guys interpret Dimash and how he moves you, how he makes you feel. And this is what Lupita said. Dimash effortlessly took it higher, modulating an amazing 3 times. Currently, his range is 6 octaves from F2 to D8. More information, by the way. More information for you that you wouldn't know unless you knew. And obviously the fans know because they've done their homework, their research, they're a fan, they're following. This is great information to know. Didn't know this until you read this, right? Or until you heard me say this, right? Dimash is the best voice in the world. Greetings from a Mexican deer. Thank you very much, Lupita. And to all the deers, I hope you're doing well. But this is the power of Dimash. Look at this. A Mexican deer. Russian, Mexican, Chinese, American, Australian, European, places all over the world, just all parts of the globe, a million zillion countries everywhere, cities near and far. Dimash has touched so many people, and it's a very incredible thing. I absolutely love it, love it, love it. Here's another one here. This one is from Rednab 2001, and this is what Rednab has to say, and I love this. Listen to this. So far, everything you have heard are covers of other people's songs. Just wait until you hear the songs that have been written especially for his voice. I want to stop there for a second because as an artist myself and someone who I've talked about the cover song phenomenon for a very long time. And Dimash has been one of the few that's managed to break what I call the moo effect. And let me tell you what the moo effect is for you guys who have not been around on my channel. The moo effect. So when you hear a sound for the very first time, when you hear a song in this instance for the very first time, the very first time you hear said song, whether it's Britney Spears, whether it's freaking someone like Adele with a phenomenal range and great voice, or Dimash for that instance, if it's an original song, the first time you hear it, your brain registers said sounds, and then it's like, okay, that is what that's supposed to sound like, right? Just like when you heard a cow go moo, hence the moo effect. First time you heard a cow go moo, your brain hole said, that is what a cow sounds like. Moo, got it. Lock it in for $1,000. And then every time moving forward, when you heard a moo, you know it's a cow. And that sounds correct. Your brain goes, yep, that makes sense. We've got that filed away over here. And that is exactly what a cow is supposed to sound like. I'm good with that. But one day, if you happen to hear a cow suddenly go, and make some other sound, your brain hole goes, what the hell is going on there? That does not sound right. And even if it sounded cooler than the sound that a moo of a cow makes, you would still go, well, but it's just not right. Just that's not what a cow is supposed to sound like. So it's the same thing with songs. The first time you heard Britney Spears, oops, I did it again, and she did it again and again and again. And every time you would hear it and you'd be like, wow, that's Britney, that's how it sounds, and you're vibing out to it and you're enjoying the song, and then suddenly freaking Paparazzi himself, the best singer on the planet, could sing the same song and do it 80 million times better, and you would be like, yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal singer, but it just didn't hit the same way like when Britney did it, because your brain hole is having a hard time computing and adjusting and saying, yep, that's acceptable, that's what that should sound like. Now, the caveat to that is when you're able to embrace a song and make it your own, that changes the whole game, because then your brain hole is accepting the fact that enough change has been done to satisfy it being a new rendition, therefore a new type of cow or animal or some sort, that you can go, yeah, well, you know, I accept that. And now that is acceptable in my brain hole, so it's fine. Sometimes it works, other times not so much, but generally speaking, you have to do something to make it your own in order for it to break the moo effect. I was going to say the cow effect, but it's that kind of phenomenon. So this is all based on my own professional experience and knowledge. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. But in this instance, Dimash, when he sings a cover, he manages to do a little something to make you forget about the original singer, and you go, you know what? Dimash, though, he's embraced this. He somehow managed to make this song feel special and uniquely Dimash. And your brain hole goes, yep, I'm cool with that. I'll accept that as a true statement. Let's let it proceed. So I love that. So let's continue here. Legendary Russian composer Igor Krutoy came out of retirement to write songs for Dimash. Another great piece of information. And each one so far has been a masterpiece. As a musician, I know it can be difficult when you first hear Dimash. It's just so overwhelming and can make you question your own talent. For those of us who have been following him for several years, we know Dimash is humble and would not want that. Dimash wants to inspire and touch listeners. He shows what is possible, and he proves that the greatest instrument was created by God Almighty himself, the human voice. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you right now, you guys write some of the most incredible comments, and I love listening to your insights. I really do. I love when you guys share your thoughts, your knowledge drops that you give to us. It is so enlightening, and it is such a pleasant read. Some of you guys write novels down in the comments. I've seen literally like 20 paragraph comments, and I'm like, holy crap, when did they find the time to write this novel in the comment section? And I think it's just so cool, though, to have that type of fans, you know, that want to just share what they know with others so they too can learn about the awesomeness of, in this case, Dimash. Is such a beautiful thing. So thank you, Rednab 2001, for sharing your information with the class. Now, let's move on, because Lady August 11 also contributed to the conversation, and she said the texture of Dimash's voice is beautiful, and that by itself is such a beautiful statement, a great way to absolutely word what Dimash's amazing voice is. It's just such a beautifully textured voice. Absolutely. He is unique and has carved his own niche in the industry. His low tones are so amazing. Enjoy your Dimash journey. You'll be amazed at his pure talent. Absolutely, absolutely, 200% agree with this comment. And I love that you guys have such a deep connection with Dimash and his music. It is such a beautiful thing. Sometimes we, listen to music, and in a sense, sometimes that emotional connection isn't there. It just isn't, for whatever reason. I have yet to see that with any Dimash song that I've reacted to. You guys all absolutely just have found that deeper connection on a higher level every time. The comments are incredible. The things that you guys feel inspired to say is incredible. I remember one saying that Dimash is like an angel. Maybe that was me. But I will tell you that if you did not know what it was like to be touched by an angel, that means you have not yet had the opportunity to listen to the greatness that is Dimash. Oh, love it. All right. R. Gray said, and this is getting into those longer comments, as I was saying. This one isn't as long as some, but let's read this, okay? Because there's a lot of juicy information here that I think you guys are going to find very enlightening. The SOS you saw was episode 1 of the Chinese TV show Singer 2017. Nobody had seen him before, so that was like his first coming out of, the closet, so to speak, where this is his first performance in front of everybody kind of scenario. People didn't know who he was. He did SOS, and suddenly the world is like, oh my gosh, this guy is absolutely bonkers. So this is what else R. Gray had to say. Nobody has seen him before. The rest of the competitors were established Chinese artists, and Dimash was the wild card. The judges of the competition were the 500-member audience who voted at the end of each episode. The well-lit people they show are the other competitors backstage. This was the second episode, and the audience was familiar with the song by Vitas from a few years back. But in the original version, Vitas only modulated once. Dimash kept going higher and higher. The man who first pumped at the end is Dimash's father. Fist pumped at the end was Dimash's father, who didn't let Dimash know he was there until after episode 3. Wow. The Show Must Go On by Queen. You guys remember he did that one. We reacted to it. At this time, Dimash only spoke Kazakh and Russian, so any songs he sang in English or Chinese were learned phonetically. So although the English wasn't perfect for episode 3, I don't know if the Chinese audience would notice that. Freaking wow. What the information in here, right, guys? So much to just absolutely dissect there. And I love that. I love that you guys sit there and you just love to just share and share and share all these nice juicy tidbits of information. I'm thinking like, the fact that his father was kind of just in the shadows, not letting him know that he was there is kind of a cool thing, right? Imagine being his father. Imagine being, so proud to see that child who had that passion, obviously from a young age, suddenly blossom right before your eyes, and now being seen by the world on a major, show in a major way had to be a very incredible and heart-wrenching moment. I absolutely freaking love stuff like that. These are the things that, really matter, I think, more than anything else for us artists. The grind is real. The effort to get to that place that we dream about is such a challenge. And it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of sleepless nights. And even when you've done all of that, it still sometimes seems so out of reach. But every once in a while, you score a little win and you find yourself getting a little bit closer to where you always dreamt that you would be. And before you know it, you're performing in front of 50,000 people, in front of 25,000 people, 30,000 people, 10, 15,000 people twice a week. I'm talking from my own story right now. But it just suddenly, you're there. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm living my dream. But the bigger realization is when those who loved you the most, who spent those hours with you the most when you were just still learning how to walk before you could run and all of that, those ones, your parents, your siblings, things like that, when they acknowledge, when they have that moment to be able to share it with you, it is such an amazing feeling, isn't it? I remember when I first sent my parents my first CD, and sending them my very first CD. And this is, again, they would have heard me make a bunch of songs, in the basement and back home. When I was a kid, they would have heard me making all kinds of ruckus. But to actually say, this is my first actual official CD, my album, sign a major label, it's a special moment. You know what I mean? It's a really special moment. So this type of thing, knowing that Dimash's father is there, he was just hiding in shadows a bit for a moment and just soaking it all in. It's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. These are the defining and beautiful moments. These are the things where we know that all the sacrifice and hard work has paid off. It's lovely. I really, really love reading what you guys write. I mean, even a simple comment like this one here from Siberian Wellness. I say this, Akorm. Every Dimash song is like a piece of art. Sweet, simple, and very true and very beautiful, to put it that way. Because, and I tell people this all the time, you guys, again, if you've ever listened to my reactions, music is art. And yes, it's subjective. And the way that it makes you feel might be different than how it makes you feel, might be different how it makes you feel, might be different on many levels how it makes you feel in any given moment. And that's the power of music, because it's going to affect everyone differently. That's beautiful. That is so priceless. I absolutely love that. It's like when you look at a very beautiful painting and it invokes certain emotions and feelings, and someone else looks at it and invokes a different set of feelings. I love that. It's absolutely just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Let's read some more. I'm really enjoying this. And I think this is really cool because this particular song, again, I reacted to this. So this is now a couple years ago when I reacted to this song. So since then, I've reacted to tons more Dimash. And I've gotten to know and appreciate the talent that much more now. And it's been absolutely incredible, the journey. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he has next in store, because, again, this is an artist that his journey has just begun. His great stories, his absolute beautiful work of art, his body of work will definitely continue to grow, and he will continue to grow as an artist. And that is so cool to be experiencing. I absolutely love it. So let's read some more. Now, we're not going to be able to read all the comments because we have hundreds of comments here. So we're not going to be able to get through all of them, but we will definitely read a few more and talk about them. And I'm going to Let's read this one here, because, well, this is from Mary E. And she started out with, "Hey, hello, beautiful," again. And if someone starts a comment out like that, I think I need to read that one, because that was very lovely to say. So thank you. Hello, beautiful, to you too. Mary E says, "Hello, beautiful, again. Welcome to the world of Dimash. You quickly became a deer." For you guys who don't know, a deer is what Dimash fans are called. They're called deers. So it's absolutely beautiful. "You quickly became a deer," what Dimash call his fans, in parentheses. Mary's written there. "And we are glad you are here. Keep watching, keep reacting, but please share it with us as you continue your journey. He will continue to touch your soul, surprise you, make you smile, and at times will make you cry. It's all good. He has a way of cleansing the soul with his music." Oh, gosh, don't you just love hearing stuff like that, right? Like, that is powerful. To know that he's got these type of freaking, just emotions running, rapid in people is so absolutely beautiful. He is currently studying to get his master's degree in composition and is to graduate this year. He will then move on to get his doctorate. As a person, he is even more than his voice. He is a philanthropist and a humanitarian. He wants the world to live in peace, unity, and love. How he is bringing people together through music with no boundaries of country, language, education, race, creed. He may just accomplish it. Blessings to you. Oh my gosh, I love this comment so much. And it's something that I say all the time, that is one of the most beautiful things about music, is that it transcends, it crosses borders. And it doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter what religion you are, or the color of your skin, or any of these things, doesn't matter. Music has a way of communicating and crossing all divides, and that is so powerful and is so beautiful. It's the ultimate communication tool, and I absolutely love that music has that effect on so many people. And that's one of the reasons why I've always been into music, because I've recognized from a very young age just how powerful music really is. Growing up in a gospel Baptist church, I was also the director of the youth choir at one stage. I was the pianist for the church. I played the drums for the church along with the piano. And I, was heavily involved, obviously, with the church and the music in church, particularly, obviously, being something that I absolutely love. And one of the amazing things is that, when you have, this beautiful, amazing sound that you're, listening to, and you're not necessarily even maybe, thinking about the spiritualness of it all, or the religious aspects of it. It's just that the music, the sound itself, is what's doing the speaking and the talking, and it's what's guiding you and making you feel some kind of way, evoking this emotion that you seem powerless to, and you succumb to it because it has that overwhelming effect on you. And that is so beautiful when you've got music that is able to just do the talking for you, and it moves you in the most beautiful and delightful way. And I've listened to Dimash, and at times I felt that same sensation, that uplifting religious freaking spiritual experience, if you will, where you just feel some kind of way, your emotions are running rapid. You don't know exactly necessarily what's being said, but you can feel what's being said. And that is when you know you've created a real, absolute, amazing work of art, when it has the power to move you, when it has the power to invoke emotion in you, and that somehow is communicated in perfect clarity so that you understood exactly what was being said without having to ever listen to a single lyric, if you will, or at least listen to a single lyric in a language that is native to your own tongue. Like, it's just beautiful, right? I'm sure you all have experienced this from time to time. You know, you'll hear a song, and especially if you're, you know, someone like me who has been into many countries and traveled around the world, or me just being someone obviously who reacts to music from said all around the world. And there's been times where the song was in a different language, you know, something maybe in Swiss or Chinese or Korean, or, you know, we've done all kinds of stuff here, you know, and it's in a different language. And it's like, even though I didn't understand what the words were, I felt like I understood the song. And it was just a feeling because of the emotion it invoked within me. And that is what the power of music can do. And I absolutely love it. Dimash has mastered this. And that's one of the greatest things, is that Dimash has found a way to absolutely allow music to be the guiding light that he uses to communicate true love and beauty to the masses in the absolute most organic way possible. He does what feels right to him, and that's what you should do. You know, there's a lot of artists, you listen to them, they sound like somebody else. It sounds like they're attempting to sound like someone else, which is even worse, because it's like they're just attempting to follow the trend. You know, they want to be like so-and-so because so-and-so is selling 1 million, you know, records, or, you know, they're getting 8 zillion streams or whatever the case may be. So they want to be like that person, instead of just finding their own voice and being comfortable in their own skin and allowing that to be who they are and come what may. One of the things that I love most about my music in general, and it's one of the things that therefore makes me respect people like Dimash that much more, is not being afraid to just be your authentic self, to be true to you, to make your own joyful noise, to allow your sound to be profoundly heard without prejudice, without fear of rebuttal or acceptance, but just doing it because it is what it is. It is your voice. It is your song. It is your passion. It is your heart, your soul. It's your opportunity to allow this to be shared with others in the most innocent form of it. And at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is if you were able to speak your truth as an artist, speaking our truth through our singing, through our voice, and being allowed to do that is such a priceless thing. When I first got signed, we had to do what we had to do because, well, we were told to do it. You know, you've got the A&R reps, you've got the executive, you got the producers, and everyone else seemed to have hierarchy over you and your music and what you were doing. They told you where you were coming and where you were going. You know what I mean? And you just had to fall in line because, well, the pecking order, and you would do what you had to do because, again, you're signed to a label, and that's just the way it was. The beautiful thing about music scene now is, as an independent artist, you can do what the hell you want, and you don't have to answer anyone, and most importantly, you're getting more than a penny to the dollar. You know, well, except when you're streaming. It's actually like point something 2 cents or something ridiculous small amount that you're actually getting with streams. So you get 1 million streams, and you go, geez, but that's all I made, what, $50 or something? It's crazy, right? It's hard to get your mind around. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, having that ability to still keep it 100, be true to yourself, you know, let your music be your music without being told that you need to sound a certain way or you need to do it this way, and just doing it because it's what feels right to you. That is beautiful. And that's what Dimash does. That's what Dimash does. Dimash just sings like a good example. He reminds me of Forrest Gump. And Forrest Gump, if you guys haven't watched that movie, it's a great movie because Forrest Gump was unapologetically Forrest Gump. You know, life's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get inside, that sort of thing. You know, it's cool when people are just people. They are who they are. And to be loved and accepted for you being who you really are is a much better feeling than being loved and accepted because of who people think you are. And yeah, you know, I think that Dimash, again, is why there's such this love for him and this huge connection that is shared amongst, you know, so many millions of people, right? Because he absolutely understands that. He understands that for me, I must be true to who I am. This is how I sound. This is what I do. If you're not into it, that's fine. But I have to sing my truth. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Dimash, one of the greatest voices of all time. Oh yes, it's true. It's damn true. And if you don't know so, make sure you then go and check out some of Dimash's music. And I promise you, you will find out the truth for yourself. And if you want to hear my 2 cents on said songs, you can also check out my reactions on my Off Tap Life channel, where I've done tons of Dimash reactions, and where I will continue to do tons of Dimash reactions, because Dimash, again, is absolutely incredible, and we are so blessed and fortunate to live at the time of the Dimash. So, guys, we're going to end BOPDOWN Episode 2 right now, because, you know, we're easing back into it. We don't need to be a 2-hour podcast right now. But this episode has been really enjoyable, getting back into the flow of things. Lots more podcast action to come. You guys have seen me starting to get my podcasts out there again. We've got multiple podcasts actually out there. When I say we, I mean me. Yeah, so make sure you just are always, you know, if you get the opportunity, subscribe to the channel with all notifications on, so you can keep tabs on what's going on. Especially, speaking of tabs, the community tab is a great place to find out what's going on my various channels, because I do have multiple channels. And yeah, in case you haven't taken the time to subscribe to all, 80, 90 of them by now, then it might be a good idea for you to make sure, at the very least, you are checking out my Off Tap Life channel on the community page. So but thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you're staying safe. It's the weekend yet again. I can't believe Easter is already just passed and we're already on another weekend. Can you guys believe it? It is absolutely mental. But take care of yourselves, stay safe, and as always, remember each moment to the fullest and to keep it off tap out.